Hey, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Gorman on Target, a program that is brought to you by the Wilson Hill Pistol Club of Manchester, Manchester's greatest little secret. The club is dedicated to firearm safety, training, and education. And tonight I am very lucky. I have a good friend of mine, Representative John Burt of Goffstown. And John and I go back a long way in the legislature, and
yes, we do.
We've had a lot of fun up there over the years, no question about that. And John, there's some exciting things happening up in the legislature this year with pro firearms for a change.
There is. We've had I've been a state representative. I'm from Goffstown for the past 2 terms. So this is my 3rd term. And sadly, it got to the Senate, and it never got past it. They always tabled it, which is a nice way to kill the bill.
Sure.
And, but this year, there's some pro-Second Amendment. Senate Bill 116, is it, or 119?
No, 116.
116.
Senate Bill, SB 116.
Yeah, Senate Bill, yep. And that's constitutional carry, a.k.a. Vermont carry, as some call it.
That's constitutional carry. What does that mean? I mean, constitutional carry. I mean, do I have to have a copy of the Constitution with me? Or, I don't understand.
Well, I do, if you ever need one. So there it is.
My kind of representative, folks, I'll tell you right there. But that's a confusing term for most folks. They don't know what that means. So could you kind of explain what is constitutional carry?
Well, what constitutional carry is, for example, I was born and raised in the old Vermont, which is the most conservative state in the nation at one time. Ooh. Vermont used to be, for 200 years, we never voted for a Democrat. Sadly, it took about 25 years to totally destroy the state. 20 years down in the hole. So they don't even, they just automatically, whoever the Democrat is, that's who wins. When I moved to New Hampshire in 1998, I was carrying for about 8, 9, 10 months. Somebody said, "Hey, John, so you must, you carry?" And I said, "Yes." "Oh, so you must have a license." "What's a license?" Because I'm from Vermont. They have 0 gun laws.
That's amazing.
Yeah, because our forefathers saw it back in the early 1900s, and they changed the Constitution then to make sure that our Second Amendment rights are protected in Vermont. Unfortunately, New Hampshire and the other states didn't follow. So what they did is, so when I was here, I asked what the license was, and they said, well, it's basically you got to go to the government, the police, and beg to carry a gun. I'm like, I've never heard of that in the Constitution.
Yeah.
So I called a friend of mine that's a law enforcement in New Hampshire, and I said, "Hey, what's about this this license?" And he told me that yes, we do need a license in New Hampshire. And he asked, "Why?" "Oh, nothing." And I wasn't going to admit that I'm carrying.
No, that's probably very wise on your part not to admit that without.
Well, and I never speak to the police, they say.
Yeah. That, by the way, is part of our Law Day, folks. Yes. If you want to come to Law Day, a good section of that is not to talk to the police involved in any kind of an situation or incident. But getting back to licensing.
So I had to go down to the chief of police and beg to carry a sidearm, which is constitutionally protected, and it's my God-given right to protect myself.
Now, is that for a loaded pistol concealed?
Yes, a loaded pistol concealed in your, in your coat or somewhere, like even in your car. If you're in your car and you don't have a license, your gun has to be unloaded because you can open carry
now,
without a license.
Now, what does that mean, open carry? I've heard this, open carry. I just don't
Well, have you ever seen a policeman?
Say again?
Have you ever seen a policeman?
Yes. As a matter of fact, one was chasing me. No, we won't.
And you notice his gun?
I did.
That's open carry.
Ah, that's open carry.
Now, concealed carry is when you can't see the gun because then you don't know if the guy... That's why New Hampshire is one of the safest states in the nation. Vermont is the second safest place in the world.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
Yep, and it's because they have constitutional carry. They don't make you get a license. So that way, bottom line, I don't want the government knowing that I own a gun. In Vermont, they don't know who owns guns. That keeps the government in check.
So
this bill that's coming forward, Senate Bill 116,
yes,
is going to allow us to get rid of the license if we don't want a license. But what's nice about the New Hampshire, if this passes, which it is going to pass out of the Senate, the bill's Thursday, what's going to be nice is if you want a license, you still can apply for one for reciprocity in Florida, because I go to Florida occasionally, and I carry my sidearm down there.
I think there's 26 states. I've heard two numbers, 26 and 33, that
yes,
do have a reciprocal agreement with New Hampshire, that that state will recognize New Hampshire's license to carry.
See, where Vermont has no license process, so they have reciprocity with nobody.
Oh, that's right, too.
But anybody in the United States can carry a loaded gun, concealed or unconcealed, in Vermont.
Really?
Because that's true constitutional carry.
Wow. Now, getting back to New Hampshire now, so if I want to carry a loaded, concealed firearm on my person or in my vehicle, loaded,
yes,
I can carry it unloaded, is that right?
In your car, if you're open carrying, which is like what a policeman does, you get to your car, this is unsafe as far as I'm concerned. You have to unload the gun and put everything, in the glove box or on the seat or wherever you want. Okay. As long as it's, it cannot be in the glove box. It has to be visible, so it has to be on your seat.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, all right.
But it has to be unloaded if you don't have a license.
I can carry a firearm as long as it's unloaded. It could be in my pocket or something. Nobody would know I have it. So I could conceal a firearm. I just can't conceal it and load it.
No, even if it's unloaded, I believe you can't conceal it.
Oh, yeah, you can't.
Serious?
Positively.
I would want to check on that.
I run law day for 4 years.
I agree with you.
With an attorney who,
and he's a good one.
Yeah, believe me.
And he has said that?
Huh? Oh, yeah, you can absolutely carry unloaded. And I could give you a whole bunch of stories, but we don't have time. So
you can conceal carry unloaded.
Unloaded loaded is the key word. We just had a Supreme Court ruling on loaded and versus unloaded. What is a loaded firearm? If I have a loaded magazine here and a firearm with nothing in the chamber or nothing in the cylinder, right? That's unloaded. If I insert the magazine, now I have loaded the pistol.
Well, but the chamber's not loaded. You still cannot fire a bullet. It's just the bullets are closer to the chamber.
With all due respect, Representative Burt, take my word for it. If you stick that magazine in the pistol, you just loaded it, and you better have a license to carry in your back pocket.
I would agree then.
Trust me on that one. Okay, so getting back to constitutional carry in the House. So what happened on opening day? I believe it was the opening day of this session. There was some kind of it wasn't a bill, it was a rule change or something to that effect to allow guns and all these crazy legislators running around armed to the teeth or something. What's that all about?
What we always have been.
What, armed to the teeth?
Yeah, pretty much. That's what I've been accused of.
Well, I know about the crazy legislative
yes.
part. I just...
The problem is the Democrats want to live in a false sense of security. So in 2012, when they took control of the House...
If I could interrupt, we're bilingual here, so we don't want to really just pick out the Democrats, because I'm sure there's a bunch of liberals that are Republicans that would go along with this idea also.
Sadly, there is. And there are a lot of good Democrats that are pro-gun.
Yeah.
So I guess I shouldn't paint there.
Yeah, you made a mistake.
Yes, I did.
Okay,
so I apologize.
Yeah.
The Democrat-controlled House
there we go.
said, well, we want this false sense of security. So what we're going to do is we're going to make it where you can't have a gun on the House floor. That's all it was, in the House gallery. Because originally, the Speaker Norelli said it's going to be complex-wide, so the whole State House. Well, the senator walked over, I think it was Bragdon, the Senate president, and he Excuse me, we're out in the hallway and you don't have any control over us and we're going to carry our guns? So she goes, oh, darn. So she came up with just the house gallery.
Would that be a little bit of an overreach on her part?
It would have been, yeah.
Yeah.
So they passed an amendment and on Rule 63, which pertains to firearms, and she said no more carrying guns in the house chamber.
Okay.
But then the next paragraph, basically, it's somewhere's in there, and it says, but security cannot search you.
Oh, okay.
So everybody carried anyways, because it's a rule. The Constitution supersedes, and the rules.
Sure.
So
it's not a law.
No, it's not a law.
It was a rule, house rule.
Yes.
Okay.
So this January, I put in an amendment. I put in 2 amendments. So I went to the Rules Committee, and I said, hi, Rules Committee, could you please pass my amendments? And they said, what's the first one? I said, it is to conceal carry on the House floor.
Right.
I'm sitting there. They went through the vote, and they passed it. I'm like, whoa.
Really?
Yeah, I was kind of surprised, to be honest.
Okay.
And I, thank you. And they said, well, what's the next one? I want constitutional carry in the House, which would be open carry, whatever you want.
Right.
And that was defeated unanimously, unfortunately.
Okay.
So at least we can, anybody, it's not just representatives. It's, if you come up to the House, please, by all means, if you're law-abiding, carry your sidearm because it is your God-given right to do it.
What makes you think I don't?
Well, but that's the charm of concealed carry. The bad guy doesn't know, and that's what makes New Hampshire, Vermont, and Maine very safe states.
So this sounds like a really dramatic shift in policy for the House floor. Was it a big battle? Was there a lot of opposition to this? What did the other side have to say about this?
Well, they brought up the children. It's to save the children not to have guns.
On the House floor?
On the House floor. But there's no children allowed on the House floor.
Okay.
So I don't know what that was about.
Well, it makes sense to me. If you want to save the children on the House floor, don't allow the children on the House floor.
Yes.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Representative, which he should have been gavelled for, Shurtleff, nice guy, but God, is he anti-gun.
Oh, really?
I mean, I've never seen any, other than Bloomberg. Bloomberg might be more anti-gun than Representative Shurtleff. He gets up there and he says, well, this representative dropped a gun. Well, he did over in the committee across the road. So it had nothing to do with the House. We were talking about the House. Normally, you would have been gavelled and saying, hey, talk about here, not over there. Who cares over there? And, so they allowed it. And another representative DeSesa.
If I may interrupt just on that note, I have had the pleasure of testifying against many of Representative Shurtleff's bills.
He loves putting anti-gun bills in.
He really does, and he really hasn't figured it out that he's going to get slapped down every time he does.
But he gets to carry in all 50 states.
Yes.
And Representative DeSesa got up there, and nice guy. He's in my committee where we get along really well.
Yep.
Matter of fact, he's brand new, so he's a freshman, but we're almost becoming friends, legislative friends, and I like that.
Sure.
But he gets up there and he's, saying, well, I can carry in 50 states. And I'm going, oh, isn't that nice? But you don't want me to carry in the House.
Right.
And he's carrying on that he was a former chief of police and that you need to just call the police if there's a situation. And I'm thinking of this, when seconds count, the police are only minutes away.
Oh, yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But the bill passed overwhelmingly. It was like don't quote me on the number, 241 to 1...
39.
Yeah, 30. Was that what it was? Oh, so you know the number.
Well, I was up in the
that's
gallery.
right.
Yeah, I was watching.
Yeah.
I wasn't going to miss this show. Yeah. That was really great. Yeah. So now going back to 116, tell me about that. Came out of committee already.
Yes,
right.
Came out with a favorable ought to pass.
Okay.
And now Thursday, whatever. So it'd be the 7th or 8th, whatever February
Thursday.
is.
Yeah,
of February. That's when it's going to come out of the Senate. And
so the whole Senate will vote on it.
Vote on it.
Who's the prime sponsor on that bill? Do you know?
Yes, Jeb Bradley.
Jeb Bradley,
Yep.
former congressman.
Yes.
Ah.
Senator Bradley. He's done a good job. Representative Hoole's on there from Dunbarton. He's also a co-sponsor on the House side. He's gonna.
So, what do you know about Jr.?
Oh, a great guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, it was funny when I was talking to somebody. I said that I was the number 2 most Second Amendment person, state representative in the House. And they said, "Well, why aren't you number 1?" I said, "Well, you must not ever met J.R.
J.R. Hole.
I'd love to meet J.R. It was like this group. They go around the whole country. They rate every representative for how effective they are, and et cetera, or how liberal, how most conservative. Well, I came in number 2 again on the most conservative state representative out of the 400 in New Hampshire. And when Dan McGuire told me that, I said, "Well, who's number 1? He's got to go." And they said Warren Grohm from Rochester, and I said, "Oh, darn. He might be a little further to the right than I am." Not much, because there's only a couple inches left to the right that I'm standing on. But I think he is right to the max.
Yeah.
It's like, darn.
We've both known JR for a long time.
Yeah, I don't like being number 2, but it is what it is.
It's the silver medal isn't all that bad.
Yeah, I'll take it.
You got to give credit where credit is due.
Oh, yes. Yeah, he definitely gets the gold.
He's as a matter of fact, I heard a little rumor a year ago, on that same bill, that same sponsor, J.R. Hoole, was before the Senate, and the Senate hearing was being run by Senator Jeb Bradley.
Yes.
And things didn't go too well.
No. And I don't understand what the switch is, but I'm happy to have it.
Yeah.
And from what I'm hearing, I think it was in the Union Leader and a few other places, it's going to paint Governor Hassett. She's right in a corner on this, because she has 3 options. Veto it, let it pass after 10 days and do nothing. Oh, it's 5 days. Okay. I thought it was 10, but I'm happy with 5 because that's quicker. Or sign it. She'll never sign it.
No, of course not. You got to respect her basic constituency.
Well, the other problem that I have is what she's going to rely on is the Chief of Police Association. They are so anti-gun. I'm on criminal justice, Don, in the State House Committee. They're always in front of me. We want more powers to tow you, to handcuff you, to beat you up, do whatever we want. But then when there's a freedom bill, like, okay, can we take a little bit of power away from the police here because it's not working well for the citizen? No, we're against that. Can we have constitutional carry? We oppose that.
And what's some of the foundation of that opposition? If you can legally carry a firearm loaded, as long as it's not concealed, and legally, what would the opposition be to concealing it? I don't get their opposition there.
Well, what they're saying is going to happen is, have you seen any John Wayne movies where everybody dukes it out on Elm Street in Manchester? That's what they're afraid of. That's what they're saying is going to happen.
Gunfight in Elm Street.
Any street. Main Street, New Hampshire, there'll be gunfights if we pass this.
No kidding.
That's basically what they're saying, and I'm looking going, really? There's 5 states that have constitutional carry now because it's becoming more popular. And Vermont's had it forever, and they don't have the gunfights.
Right. Do you think there's anything else going on in that opposition to what makes sense to me and obviously makes sense to you type of mentality? What's happening here?
Well, the other is financial. They don't want to lose the $10. So follow the money.
Follow the money, yes.
They also do not want to lose the registration, the gun registration they have going on, because really that's what it is. Getting a license has nothing to do with our safety. It's all about receiving the money, which is just a small token, and then also
How much does that cost?
$10 for 4 years.
$10 for the license.
Yes.
That's all.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
But the main thing thereafter, they want to know who has guns and who doesn't. But for some reason, those darn criminals, why don't they ever? They all have guns.
Well, yeah, but they're registered guns.
Well, I'm sure they are.
Oh, I can remember clearly. I was sitting in my car one day. This guy come up, yanked it open, pointed a gun at me, said, "Get out of the car." And I looked at him and I said, "But sir, your firearm is not registered." And he looked at me and said, "Oh, I'm sorry. If you wait here, I'll run down to the police station and register it."
Yes, I'm sure he did.
I'm sure he did. No question in my mind.
Because it was slipped out into the committee once where a officer said when they call in a speeding ticket or something,
Yeah.
they'll look in that little box where all the registrations are, the licenses are. Yeah, he's carrying. And that's against the law. That's not supposed to happen.
To carry?
No, the police are not supposed to use it for that purpose.
Oh.
But they are using it for that purpose. So really, it's a gun registration is what it is.
Gee,
license.
They don't have to look very hard for me. I got a big sticker, life member of the NRA, right on my rear windshield, right under a sign that says, "I do not consent to searches under the New Hampshire Constitution."
Yeah. And I think you, on Law Day, you educate people on that.
We do. We go a lot into the rights of the individual, and we also go in very, very heavy on the responsibilities of the individuals, and we really work very hard at clearing up myths. There are some serious misinformed people out there that really honestly believe that if somebody breaks into their house in the evening, they have the right to take their firearm and get out and shoot the guy. And nothing could be further from the truth.
Yep.
And it boils down to a very simple concept: life above property. If you're defending property, you cannot take a life. I don't care if it's the lowest scumbag that ever walked the face of the earth. If he's not harming or threatening your life or somebody, a third person, all right, you are just protecting your pickup truck from a carjacking.
Yes.
You can't shoot the guy. You give him the car. You may not want to, but you give him the car, he drives off, you call your insurance agent. It's not a big deal. You pull the trigger, man, bad news.
Yeah.
Bad news. And a lot of people do not understand this.
But now if he has a knife,
Who?
the carjacker, and he's swinging it at you, at that point, game is on, correct?
If he's imminent.
Which is
Imminent threat to death or grave bodily injury. So you and I are imminent right now.
Yeah.
But the fellow out there in the control room is not. So if he was out there and he's waving a knife and saying he's going to come in here and kill us, he's not imminent. Now, if he got to the edge of the table, yes. But you can't 50 feet away, you can't just start shooting
That's
at him.
true. Yes,
Yeah.
I agree.
So imminent.
And luckily he likes us out there.
He does like us out there. Yeah, he's a nice fellow, and we wouldn't have the show if he wasn't doing such a crackerjack job out there. But yeah, imminent there's another phrase that we use: life above property, and people don't. So in other words, let's say I had a hunting camp up north someplace. It's always getting broken into. So I say, I have a great idea. I'm going to rig a shotgun with a booby trap and a rope and this and that and the other thing.
Yeah.
And if somebody opens that door and breaks into my place, that gun will go off and shoot him.
Yeah, that's a big
And
no-no.
if the gun goes off and shoot him, I'm going to explain to the judge why he ought to reduce my sentence from life to, say, 20 years or something.
Yes.
Because what is the shotgun doing? It's defending property, and it's designed to take this perpetrator's life. Okay? The penalty for breaking and entering in this state is not execution.
Even though occasionally you would.
You might want to.
Yes, just shoot them in the leg or something. But yes, I agree. If they're lugging your TV down the road, I mean, you're going to be mad. But
we had a lady that I thought did one of the smartest things I ever heard of. In our class, came to take law day class, and she went down shopping. She came back. She locked the door. Went shopping. Came back. Found a car in her driveway.
Huh?
Her door was open. She pulled in back of the car, wondering who's this and what's this all about. Now she's carrying. She got a firearm in her purse.
Yeah.
Just about that time, this young fellow comes out and he's saying, "Please, don't. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. Don't call the police. I'm leaving. I didn't take anything." That kind of stuff. And she thinks real clearly. Okay, so she backs the car out, which gave him exit. Then he jumped in the car, pulled out. She's on the phone to 911, and 2 blocks down, or half a mile or so down the road, they nailed the guy. So she avoided this whole gunfight, I'm Marshal Dillon, you're under arrest, and all of this mentality. Just, hey, let the guy go, copy down his number, we'll see you later, you know. But if he had come after her personally, she's carrying. That's a whole different ballgame.
That's right.
Well, John, I hate to say this, but we got to wrap this up. I could go on for another couple of hours.
It does. It goes so fast.
Yeah, they always do. So, yeah, it's been a real pleasure having you on board. And,
well, thank you for having me on.
It's been a lot of fun, and I'm sure I'll see you around campus up there as we go through the legislative session.
Absolutely, we will.
Yeah, so... Anyway, I think we're wrapping up here, folks, so I just want to close by saying that this is Gorman on Target. Don Gorman speaking, my good friend, Representative John Burt, here with us tonight. And remember, folks, reducing a magazine from 20 rounds to 10 rounds does not stop crime. Thank you.